Okay, so on this one, they're saying this is f of x. And now we want to shift up 1 unit and right 5 units. Up 1, right 5. So how do we do that? How do we take g of x? So f of x is the original graph. G of x will be the new one, the changed one. 3 square root of x. Okay. So what's going to go up 1? Well, I'll need to add 1 out. So now in this case, you're not going to need to use parentheses, but the square root will be the grouping symbol for you. So that's how math works. Parentheses are the most common grouping symbol, but there's other kinds of grouping symbols also. We had absolute values a while ago. Those are grouping symbols. The square root, that can group things together. So I'm going to take the square root, and it's going to be like the parentheses. And how am I going to go right 5? What am I going to do to make it go right 5? Minus 5. Oh, kind of running out of room there. There we go. Let me slide this over so it's clear that this is outside. Whoops, not the color I wanted to use. Yeah, so there we go. This is right 5 because x again is opposite. So that's an x. How do we know that's an x effector? Because it's in x's little world. It's in the square root. So this time we're not using parentheses, but we still have a grouping symbol, the square root, which tells us where marks out x's little world. And we're saying right there in x's little world, opposite, x is always opposite, so that's going to make it go right 5. And then outside, it's very important that this is outside of the square root. Let me write that. Plus 1 is outside of the root, so it's not in x's world, so it is y. Up 1. It's a y effector, not an x. Everybody seeing that? That plus 1 is outside of x's world. It's not an x. It's a y. So there we go. There's our equation. 3 square root of x minus 5 plus 1. That'll move it up 1 and right 3. See what you're learning right away about how to read graphs? You know quite a bit about reading equations and graphs now. You can look at this, which is a pretty complex equation, and go, oh, okay, that's basically a square root graph. And if you have this chart or you're starting to learn these, you'll know what's a square root graph right there. It's the one that starts at the origin and shoots off to the right. I always think of it like a firework. There, like, and the reason I say it's because it sits down on the ground and shoots off. It doesn't go, but it's the only one that doesn't go both ways, does it? See, all the rest go left and right, left and right, left and right, etc. It's the only one that only goes one way. It's like it sits on the ground and shoots off like a firework. Normally starting at the origin, they all start at the origin normally, but then it's going to go up 1, right 5. So it would go up 1, right 5, be right here, shooting off like that. What's the 3 going to do? We'll get to that in a little bit. It's basically going to multiply it, make it go up a little faster is what it's going to do. But it's still going to be right 5, up 1. That won't change. The 3 doesn't move it right, left, or up, down. Why not? Because the 3 is not added nor subtracted. It's multiplied. That's 3 times the square root. Times has a different effect. It doesn't move graphs, it stretches them. So this graph will go up 3 times as fast. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me just mention it right now. Up 3 times, it's stretched. Stretched up 3 times as fast. So it'll stretch it up. It's still right 5, up 1, but now it'll go up really fast. It's stretched up 3 times as fast is what that 3 numbers multiplied have a stretching effect, which we'll talk more about. There we go.